So a lot of questions I get about body talk is what sorts of concepts are we going to learn within our body talk training? So I'm going to share with you in a few short videos what are some of the techniques and concepts that we learn within the body talk system. One of the ones that I like that I'm going to share with you today is learning about the pathological consciousness of the different body parts, so the organs, endocrines, and body parts of the body. Our body can show us where illness resides according to some of the pathologies that are there. And what makes it pathological is if it's something that creates dis-ease in our physical or mental state. So our mental state or physical state creates this dis-ease in our body, and it shows up in a certain area of the body. So a really good example is if somebody who is a heavy smoker, that would be a physical thing. So they would show up with possibly cancer or emphysema, something like that in the lungs. It becomes pathological when it creates disease. The other thing that would show up there for a mental part of it would be grief. And the reason why we know these things is the Chinese medicine system has studied the body and all of its parts and noticed what disease correlates with what body part, and especially really shows up with the mental part of it. So us overthinking, too much fear, excess anger, and where does that show up in the body and how does it show up in the body? So to go back to my example with the lungs, let's say we have someone who's a heavy smoker, we could expect that they may die of lung cancer. And then all of a sudden they show up in the doctor's office with a pain in their stomach, maybe some yellowing of the eyes. They get diagnosis that they have pancreatic cancer. And you're like, wow, that person I thought would have had some lung disease because they've smoked for so many years, but now they have a tumor in their pancreas. Then you start to take their history, their intake form, and they talk a lot about their worry. So I know I had one woman who worried incessantly for years and years and years about her daughter when she was younger. Her daughter was always in trouble, had a teenage pregnancy, got into drugs, all kinds of stuff. And then even as an adult, she became mentally ill, lived on the streets for a while. And so this woman worried her whole life about this child of hers. Worry, worry, worry. And so when we look at the pathological consciousness of the stomach, spleen, and pancreas, according to Chinese medicine, one of the main emotions there is worry, anxiety, etc. So the fact that this woman's cancer showed up in her pancreas versus her lungs makes perfect sense, because she worried so much that it became a pathological disease within her body mind. So these are the types of things that you're going to learn about. I'm going to give you just a quick overview of some of the organs. We won't do the endocrines or body parts because you learned that in class, but just to give you an idea, we have yin-yang pairs. So we have like the liver and the gallbladder, and the liver is the yin organ and the gallbladder is the yang organ. And they are responsible for helping us process anger, rage, disappointment, sort of all those concepts on the anger spectrum. And you'll learn about the other concepts are there, like the liver has specific ones that are different than the gallbladder, but they both have some same ones because they're both the wood element. So like liver will be organization, but gallbladder will be courage. But they both process anger, or they both store anger, or if there's excess anger, that body part can become ill. So that's when we see liver disease or gallbladder problems. So that's the liver, gallbladder. That's the wood element. The fire element is heart and small intestine. And the, just to make sure I have it right, the heart is the yin and the small intestine is the yang. And they are responsible for processing joy, happiness, wholeness, that sort of stuff. But also, in their own rights, have their own other processes. So the small intestine physically sorts as we get food comes in, it sorts through, keeps what it needs to keep for vitamins and minerals, etc., and then gets rid of the rest. So it also helps to sort thoughts. The heart is about awareness, self-love. So they have some of the same and then some different concepts as well. It's also responsible for processing our sadness. So if we have excess sadness, can create a broken heart. For example, we say I have a broken heart. We literally, sometimes in Bodytalk, we'll see people with broken hearts. So that's just a couple examples of 2 of the elements. So fire is heart and small intestine, wood is liver, gallbladder. You'll learn all about the other elements, so earth, metal, and water. Their corresponding organs, all of the pathological consciousness of what they're responsible for, and how it shows up as dis-ease in the body. If you want more information, you're certainly welcome to pop me an email, question, sign up for our course. My website is taylorweidman.com. All the details are down below. Thanks. Have a great day.